Hi everybody, as you can see I'm still dressed the normal way, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there, but no, it's literally a direct follow on from what I've just did. So right, second part of the chapter. I hope you like the first one. This is the second part, so we'll get down to it. Okay, well, so junior school, yeah. It flew by at an alarming rate, a stupid rate. That's my cat, if you just heard it by the way, she's just annoying me. Days turned into weeks, weeks turned into years. They crammed so much into your head back then. It's amazing you actually stay sane, it really is. But it was fun. Like me and Jace used to run around getting into trouble and doing all those bits and pieces which you do as a kid, sync running. Break times were full of playing British and Germans, or reenacting as much Star Wars as you could possibly imagine. If you had blonde hair like I did at the time, I was Luke Skywalker. Oh yeah, damn right. And the big kids were always Darth Vader because they were stupid. Yeah, it was cool. Bulldog was, so I'm just checking where my cat is. She's behind me. Sorry. Bulldog was massive in school. It consisted of just a load of guys standing on one side, one guy in the middle of the field, everyone around him, and he'd tackle as many people as possible. Hard hitting, nasty game, which I think they've banned now for some unknown stupid reason. I never got hurt, and I was a skinny git. It was good fun. It was like, it was good fun. It was a combination of either being tackled, punched, kicked, tripped, kicked in the ribs. It didn't matter as long as they stopped you. Then you became part of the defensive team. Then it was good. It was good. It used to get quite violent at times, though. But hell, it was fun. It's part of growing up, isn't it? It really is. Once as well, we they had a bike proficiency course. I don't know if they still do those down. And my pride and joy was a drop handle bike by Raleigh. Took it in, you had to polish it up, and you had to make sure you could drive around in circles and figure of eight and emergency brakes on a bike. I don't know. It was like an MOT and a driving test, but basically on a push bike in a school playground. And if you'd done it, you passed. Yay! Which I did. It was great. We got a nice little badge afterwards, which was really good. Another thing which they used to do was father and son nights. Were quite popular. I don't know if they did mother and daughter nights, I really don't know, but father and son. My dad used to take me along, and it would be a thing of like physical things and kicking a rugby ball or kicking a football around and see how many goals you could score and stuff like that, and the quizzes. I always remember my dad having a bit of a run-in with one of the teachers, and it was over a question about trains. Now, like, there's something I do know, and don't mess with my dad, about trains. He's a bit of a geek, he's a bit of an anorak. You look at a man who could probably recite every single station on like the Northern Line backwards. He knows. And he doesn't even live in London anymore. But yeah, I remember that was quite fun. It was a weird time as well. Apart from all the fun bits and pieces, I started getting blurred vision. Which was weird. Just my eyes used to go a bit weird, and it used to end up with me blacking out on several occasions. It was weird stuff. It scared the crap out of me. I think it did the same to my parents as well. And I know they took me to several doctors and stuff to see what was going on. They didn't know. And then I went to see a specialist. How the hell my parents afforded that at the time, I really, really don't know. I think it was in Cardiff. I think at the Heath Hospital. It could have been Glamorgan. I'm not quite sure. I'm too young to remember. And I remember going in, and they jabbed me with a needle, and they put this net thing on my head. It's pretty scary for a young kid to go through all that, because you don't know what the hell's going on. But it was also pretty cool because I think I had time off school, which was even better. But I don't think they found out anything wrong there. Something to do with my brain wasn't growing in line with the body or something. I don't know. It never caused many problems for long. I think I had another 6 or 7 years of it. I think it carried on when I went into secondary school, but I'm not quite sure. But yeah, that was scary times, I can tell you. But I seem to be okay now. Sort of. I don't know. Yeah, weird. I wear glasses. I should be wearing glasses now. Don't tell my mum. At the end of each term as well, which was quite good, was you used to have a non-uniform day, which was always a good laugh. You could go in normal clothes, jeans, t-shirts, whatever you wanted, or whatever your mum picked basically for you. So it was 70s, big collars, huge flares, horrible time for clothes anyway. And you could take a board game in, or gaming. So everyone sort of bought in for standard games. You had a maze game where you had to do a ball bearing, press buttons and turn knobs, and this ball would jump up and down. Mousetrap was also a real popular game. You had a born kid who brought in chess and drafts. Nothing wrong with chess. I actually used to be in a chess club in primary school. I wasn't any good at it, but I still played it. And mine, I was brought in electronic games, because my mum and dad bought me a few games. Frogger, for one, Pac-Man, Caveman, Astro Wars. I used to have them all. U-Boat Hunter, which was a two-player game, two screens that you played against each other. That was quite good. Yeah, my mum and dad bought me those over the years, Christmas presents mostly, and I could play most of them with my eyes shut and not even think and still get high scores. Should have kept them, really. And the days used to end off as well with all the kids thrown into a hallway, thrown in, and you had this old chap who used to come along with a projector and show the same Tom and Jerry cartoons year in, year after, year in, year after. Absolute nightmare, and that's all they used to do. But we used to do that at the end of each term, and it was fantastic. Another big thing was Valentine's Day. Oh yeah, it was Valentine's Day. And what they used to do, they used to put a makeshift cardboard post box. It was basically a cardboard box painted red. And they used to put it in one of the corridors of the main school, and if you wanted to send a card to someone, you posted the cards, and then they used to hand them out in class, and everyone would go, "Ooh, he's got a boyfriend," all that bollocks. Yeah, and you handed out a registration at the beginning of each day. I don't think I ever received many, but I always used to send them to the same girl every year. They used to do the same thing at Christmas as well, and again, didn't get many Christmas cards, but I used to send them to the same girl every year. I'll mention her later. That sounds really dodgy, doesn't it? No, it's nothing like that. But she does come up later on. Yeah, she does. She does pop up later on. Yeah, but towards the end, I think it was the end of primary school and towards the beginning of secondary school as well, they started having discos in the church hall, St. Dufferig's Church Hall. And we just used to get dropped off around the corner by your parents, because let's face it, it was uncool to be dropped off at the front door because no one wanted to see your parents. And everyone wore their best clothes, best flares. Let's face it, it was the 70s. Yeah, no, it wasn't good. 70s stroke early 80s, it was not good. But at the time, it seemed fun at the time. It was the 80s after all. The 80s usually. Sorry, that's something I said. And it was also an excuse to get together for about 2 hours and watch all the girls dance around like some corny, really bad 80s chart music, whilst all the boys lurked on one side because we didn't have the guts to go up and ask for girls to dance. I can't dance. I hate dancing, in all honesty. I don't think any boy can dance, really. They just stood there and ogled over girls. You just had to, like, all the girls doing the handbag dance, yeah. Handbag on the floor. What didn't make it helpful as well is the teachers used to prowl the outside of a hole, like sort of Rottweilers, like, you looked at a girl, be like, "Arr." So you had no chance anyway. Catholics, couldn't touch them. It was like prison guards, really. It was quite bad. But it was always one guy who managed to turn out with like a packet of 10 Embassy #1 fags, and and they were gods. The rest of the guys were gods. So he nipped out and, like, you were his best mate. So you had a quick smooth, cough your guts up and throw around the corner. Yeah, it was something you did because it was rebellious. It was. Another thing you did, if you could get hold of it, was alcohol. Oh, yeah, alcohol. So being a kid was awesome. I remember on one of the parties I swiped my dad's hip flask, which I've still got. It's downstairs. I was checking the shelves, but it's downstairs. I've still got it. And I snuck into their drinks cabinet. They always had booze in the house and stuff like that. They never hid alcohol from me. It was always accepted. And I had to check which ones were open. And at this precise spot, the only one which was open was a bottle Martini extra dry, Vermouth. Gross stuff. But again, it didn't matter, did it? It was alcohol. So, you sneaked in and quietly announced that you had alcohol. And this was done by waving the hip flask above your head and shouting it rather loud, like, "Yeah, I've got alcohol, everybody!" And everyone used to pile outside around the corner to drink it, and it tasted absolutely rank by itself. It really does. Sorry, I get distracted by bright lights and bitches. Yeah, it was quite fun because, like, the next step is you have to go outside and drink it and stuff. Like, once I sat around back, I was have a fag. Someone give you a fags deal, give them a bit of alcohol. I said disgusting stuff. And at that age, you don't know how much it takes for you to get drunk. You just see drunk people and you expect them to get drunk. So, like, after a couple of gulps, you're like slurring, acting drunk, falling over because it's like, "I love you," as you do. It doesn't work like that, does it? But surprisingly, we never got hangovers. Surprising that, even though we thought we were drunk. And as school progressed as well, I started seeing girls in a different light, as you all do when you get to a certain age, don't you? Beforehand, they were smelly, horrible things, and I had to avoid them at all cost. Horrible. But like most kids, it comes to a time when you start paying attention to them. Certain things change, don't they? And suddenly girls become rather attractive, sort of, what's going on here? It caused problems with friends as well, didn't it? Because, one day you got all your mates, and then suddenly you've got a girl, or you like a particular girl, or you're going after girls, whichever way. And, right until then, your mates are going around your house, you're going out for walks, you're fishing, skimming stones, throwing rocks at trees, and then suddenly, you got a girl. Have the prospect of having a girl interfering with your way of life was almost paramount to war. It was awful stuff. Now, going back to what I said about 5 minutes ago about Valentine's Day, there was this one girl, which I said I used to send her Valentine's card every year, Christmas cards every year, and get a bit giggly when I was around her for no apparent reason. What I didn't know at the time, all those years ago, was that girl would end up actually being almost like a blueprint embedded into my head of what I look for in girls and girlfriends in the future. And her name was Maria. Yeah, I'll say it in a second. I don't say second names, by the way, okay, so you can just guess who I may be talking about. But yeah, Maria. She was smaller than me, a lot smaller than me. And she had fantastic long black hair, like down to her ass. It was down back around her kneecap somewhere, and a hell of a smile. She just had this hell of a smile, and when she laughed, she covered her mouth up a little bit, like my dad. So remember that, okay? And this long hair, short long hair, good smile. My might pop up later. You never know. Short, long hair. Yeah, you go. But you know, as a kid, you just see them looking over distance and pray they don't look in your general direction, because you just look like some weirdo. It's weird. My little infatuation with Maria lasted quite a few years. By the time I actually plucked up the courage to ask her out, I think she was seeing somebody else then. It was too late. But it was the start of something that boys in general cannot control as they're growing up. You can't. If you only knew what the hassle girls and women gave you, I don't think you'd ever go there. I would think you would start with you. So, between... I'll wrap it up. Between staring ogle-eyed at Maria anytime I could, yeah, I had a good collection of friends. Life was good, and school life had started really, really well. Yeah. So, I'll be back in a bit. Take it.